Hey guys, it's Allison here, and it is day 4 of LOAD 518, and it is May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you. We are scrapbooking Star Wars memes, and one of the quotes that was in the email was, "It's not my fault," by Han Solo. And this made me think of this photo of two mismatched shoes that my daughter brought on our journey. So I thought that was appropriate, because that's pretty much what she said. It's not my fault. So the other prompt is to use stars. So I am going to use as many stars as I can in the scraps, and I've got a whole stack of scraps here that I'm gonna figure out how I want to arrange this. This one's gonna be my background. It's from a paper pad, so it's a little bit flimsier. So I wanted to have some cardstock in the background, but I'm just gonna have like the narrowest of borders of white around. Okay, so I am just gonna get started, and today I'm not gonna talk through this. I'm just gonna put this on fast forward and commentate over it. All right, as always, I am starting by trimming off my branding strips, and then I do have to trim a little bit extra off that blue background just so I can get the narrow border of white around it. And like I said, this is mostly, the white cardstock there is mostly for support, but I do like the crisp white border around the whole layout. I like a frame. I like a frame. Let's be honest. Okay, so now I turn my attention to the layers behind the photo. And I'm going to put the blue card right behind the photo. And that is a 4x6 journaling card. It's not a scrap, so it's the same size as the photo, which means I can't mat the photo with it. So I've just kind of put it off to one side. I like the contrast of that sort of turquoisey blue against the wood grain in the photograph, the floor right there. And then I have cut a piece of the white. It's sort of white with a whole lot of different colored small stars on it. Just a little bit bigger than 6x4, so that I can have that all the way around. And then I've got the two larger pieces, the yellow stars and the blue polka dot, and I've put them horizontally, so I've got a bit of an L, and that gives me a place that I can build my title and journaling just there on the left hand side. And I'm just cutting the rest of my scraps. I've got some squares there from a Chamel cut apart paper, and a couple pieces of wood grain paper. I really thought that I could pull the wood grain in because of the wood flooring in the photograph, but they're just not really working for me. The tones are wrong. It's just, it's not speaking to me. So I disregard them and I move on to the rest of my papers. I cut out 3 yellow and 3 turquoise cameras, figuring I can work them into embellishment areas a little bit later. I'll trim them out. And I do want to have a longer element. So I tried the lighter blue stars and that didn't really work. It blended in too well with the background. But this dark blue strip with like the tiny sort of star points on it works quite well. So I've pulled that in, and then I have 2 scraps of this paper. It's a very subtle gray sort of hatch pattern on white, and I'm going to use that as my journaling block. So I've commit to where all these papers are going to live on the layout and get everything in place, just as you see there. And that means that it's now time to turn my attention to a title. So I like these glittery blue thickers because they go with the colors that I've got happening on the layout already. I didn't have enough to spell the whole title, so I'm just highlighting the "my fault" in these glittery stickers, and I figure that's good because it's almost like I'm saying this is my fault, which it kind of was because I didn't pay attention when my husband was packing the shoes. But it is also my daughter's fault for sure. And then I just use small blue tile stickers to fill in the rest of the title. I don't have an apostrophe for the word "it's," which I know bothers some people, but I'm not going to let it bother me today. If it bothers me later when I look at the layout, a week from now, then I'll just figure something out for an apostrophe, but right now I'm okay with it. So I'm getting my journaling in, and basically the story is that I was busy working before we went off on holiday, and so I was not in charge of the girls packing their suitcases. My husband was, and he, in typical fashion, figured that the girls should be able to do this by themselves, so he didn't double check, and I didn't double check. And when we arrived in Scotland, my daughter went to go and grab her sandals, and she had 2 left sandals. So, yeah. That's what happens when you let your husband take care of the packing. Moving on to my embellishments. So I trimmed out a yellow and a turquoise camera, and I put the turquoise one against paper and discovered that nope, that was not going to give me enough contrast. I really like the yellow against it though. So I'm building 3 different clusters, and I have put the remainder of that 12 inch strip of dark blue paper up at the top left. And then I can put my camera up there, but I do want to add a few extra things. So I'm cutting, just roughly cutting a strip of that from that turquoise square, and I'm layering that over top of the dark blue paper. And then in my kit of supplies, I had this sheet of Studio Calico chipboard stars, and there was 3 gray ones left on it. So I'm adding 1 gray star to each embellishment area. And in the other 2 embellishment areas, I needed a dark blue paper. I didn't have any more of that one that I used on the base of the layout. So I punched a circle from the dark blue square that I had cut out, and I figured the change in shape was also a good idea. Everything on the layout so far was quite boxy. So I punched 1 big circle and then cut it in 2 so I could have half circle in the 2 embellishment areas, sort of top of the photo on the right and then to the left of all the journaling. And then I just added a tiny scrap of that paper up at the top to complete that embellishment area, so they all have something the same basically in them. And I'm going through, I have this pack of stickers from Simple Stories. I'm sorry, I can't remember which collection it was. And I'm just pulling out a few things that I think relate. And I do have 1 sticker from a Chamel sticker pack. I think it's from Little by Little. That's just on the top of the journaling right there. So I've added 1 little round sticker to each embellishment area, and now my finishing touch, as always, is enamel dots. And these are from Glitter Girl. So I've got 3 different colors, so 1 of each color in each embellishment area, which you can see now in the finished layout. So I did this in 2 blocks of time, but it didn't take me too long to do. I just got interrupted by a field hockey game. Actually 2 field hockey games, but anyways. There you see all the finishing touches, little stickers, and all those good little things that help finish a layout, make it feel special. Okay guys, thank you so much, and I will see you again tomorrow for day number 5. All right, have a good night. Bye-bye.